Denmark. This is the Royal News Report. I am Elmer Vasquez.
And I'm Tom Geranius. It appears we have some breaking news at the Royal Palace. So here's Sarah Gustafson, our reporter in the field. What do you got for us, Sarah?
Thanks, Elmer. We are here at the scene of the castle, where a bloodbath just occurred between Laertes and Hamlet. The king and queen also have died, in addition to Laertes and Hamlet. Here is Fortinbras, our new king.
A great tragedy has occurred here today, with the death of so many royal families. But today, I stand before you as the new king of Denmark.
Laertes,
Hamlet,
I want to apologize for my actions the last few days. I haven't been myself.
I understand. Let's settle this like gentlemen.
A hit! Hooray for Hamlet! A drink for Hamlet! It's already open.
Oh, the queen is about to die. I have to finish the job.
Ow! What's wrong with you?
I was doing what I was told. Marked to death by my own blade. Justice so. Hamlet, it is time I told you the truth. It is Claudius that has killed both you and I.
Yeah?
And your mother. It was Claudius that put the poison in the drink and the tip on that sword. We are both doomed for death. Take your revenge now.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Mother! Is it true? Yes? Is that a yes? Hey. You incestuous, murderous homewrecker. Prepare to die. Drink! Drink! It is done. It looks like my time has come. But justice has been served.
Hamlet! Hamlet! Don't die yet!
I'm gonna die.
Let me die with you. Where's the cup?
No, not the cup. Don't drink out of the cup. Remember how that worked for Romeo and Juliet? Tell my story, Horatio. Tell people my story.
Wow, compelling stuff. This reminds me of a poem by Langston Hughes called Justice. That justice is a blind goddess, is a thing to which we black our wise. Her bandage hides two festering sores that once perhaps were eyes. From what I have heard, the blind justice is actually a Greek goddess called Themis, who is an advisor to Zeus. The blind justice represents fair and equal distribution to the law, of the law. What do you think about this, Thomas?
Thanks, Sarah. That was some profound analysis, very deep. And if I may embellish upon it, Langston Hughes wrote this poem about Themis, the Greek goddess, who, if you aren't familiar, was the goddess of justice. She wore around a blindfold over her eyes, and she resembled justice. And this was, as you said, to show that justice is blind and doesn't doesn't have bias.
Well, it's kind of like how when Fortinbras walked in, he didn't know what was going on, but immediately recognized that Hamlet had done his deed well, justfully. A fan of the news report has recently tweeted that Hamlet actually did not hold any obligation to killing Claudius. He proposes that the people of Denmark actually hold no feelings towards ghosts. Therefore, Hamlet didn't actually hold any obligation to killing Claudius. And that might explain why he spent 4 acts trying to prove Claudius's guilt. So that gives 2 sides to Hamlet's anger, making him more objective and therefore just. It's good criticism, fan.
Looks like another tweet has just come into the Royal News Network, and this one is discussing the 3 sons trying to avenge their fathers. It's a distinction between them. Hamlet and Laertes, it says, are acting out of rash and not well thought out and personal reasons. You know? They're avenging their father directly as themselves, and they're being very personal about it. Whereas Fortinbras, it's a much bigger issue than just strife between a few parties. It's a whole country trying to take back its land, and it's, in that sense, more just. And that's why Fortinbras is allowed to live, and the other 2 die.
Interesting criticism, fan. Interesting criticism.
Pretty deep.
Pretty deep.
I interpreted it the same way as our Twitter fan, where Laertes and Fortinbras were literary foils to Hamlet. All 3 of them were noble-like, and their fathers were killed. However, they reacted to this in their own form of revenge in different ways. Laertes and Hamlet were more personal about it, as our Twitter fan was telling. And they both realized this by the end and realized that their consequence, that of death, was justice. This is, Laertes was saying, I am justly killed by my own treachery. Further, Hamlet says, that to Laertes I forgot myself, for by the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. And then later on he says, there's a special providence in the fall of the sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it not be to come, it will be now. That was before the duel, Hamlet's, but he had reached justice, and what he knew was his consequence at that point. However, Fortinbras, it wasn't personal. It was a noble stand for his country and for his whole lineage, and so therefore he didn't die, and he ended up inheriting Denmark.
Irony can be seen throughout the scene in that Laertes dies in his plot to kill Hamlet. He's plotting to kill him, yet Hamlet ends up killing him. The same goes for King Claudius. Laertes, his death proves that irrational behavior in the name of revenge is not good. It will not end well for you. And that can be seen with Laertes' death as well as King Claudius's.
There was a lot of illusion in this scene, especially before the duel when Hamlet, speaking to Horatio, he said, there is special providence in the fall of the sparrow. This is actually from the Bible, and it justifies the harm that will come upon oneself. Now, when Hamlet dies and Horatio begins to speak of suicide, he's alluding to the suicide of the old Roman way, or antique Roman. But Hamlet responds, if thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain. Stating the injustice of suicide, yet providing himself justice by letting the truth of Hamlet's story be accounted through Horatio.